Hello, friends, and welcome to Season 8 of the Future Ready Librarians podcast series, Leading from the Library. This is a podcast for all librarians wherever you are in your journey. It is filled with amazing guests, important topics, and engaging conversations that will inspire, engage, and support all of us as future ready librarians. I am your host, Shannon McClintock Miller. I am the district teacher librarian at Van Meter Community School in Van Meter, Iowa, and I serve as the Future Ready Librarians leader. I have the pleasure of working within my library and school community and also with others around the country and world through Future Ready Librarian events, conferences, consulting, writing, and more. I am honored to bring these voices and the work of others to our podcast and to all of you. Well, today I couldn't be more excited about this podcast because I'm inviting two of my amazing friends, Amanda and Deb, to join us to talk about how they collaborate across highways, state lines, and borders. They actually said it's the I-35 PLN, and I cannot wait for you guys to hear more about all the things that they are going to share with us. But let's just start by having you introduce yourselves to our listeners.
Go ahead, Amanda.
Oh, okay. My name is Amanda Hunt. I go by the Next Gen Librarian on social media. I am a middle school 6 through 8 library media specialist in New Braunfels, Texas, which is on I-35 in between San Antonio and Austin. I'm also our secondary lead librarian for our district and also the secondary gifted and talented facilitator for the district. So I wear a lot of hats, and that's why I need help from my friend Deb to make an awesome PLN.
Hi, everybody. I am Deb Zeman. I am also 6th through 8th grade middle school librarian I live in Frisco, but I work in Louisville ISD. I'm on umpteen different committees, reading committees, web tech tool committees, pick it all. I'm going to be the new TLA publisher liaison. So I'm excited about that and getting to, be with all the authors. And our PLN now is what, 5 years? We've been really good. It's in full force during COVID. But even before that, Amanda and I were reaching out, doing things, whatever. And you can find me out on social media. I'm Zbrarian, Z_Brarian.
Librarian. I love it. So you guys tell us what that means for those of our listeners who are wondering maybe even like what a PLN is, like what that means to you.
PLN is our family is really what it is. It's people we can reach out to, people we can connect with, to just throw ideas off of to get ideas. As you know, Texas is insane right now with all the different things going on. So we can connect with each other and get ideas. Okay, well, how do I handle this? How do I do this? But then also just bounce things off of each other. That's really what it is. Amanda and I, it's a constant, what do you think of this? Done. Okay, I'm going to steal that. Okay, great. No, wait, let's do this. So yeah, that's in my head.
Absolutely. Whenever you think of PLN, if you don't know, it stands for Professional Learning Network. And I feel like family is the best way to do it. And it is the best professional development I've ever had. Because if you're a school librarian, you know that working in a district that we don't always get professional development. It's mostly catered towards our teachers and educators, right? Mm-hmm. So we are always looking for different ways to collaborate, get ideas, new apps to try. Shannon is such a plethora of information for us, and I love that she shares. And that's one thing that Deb and I do is anything we create, we share out with other librarians because we want our profession to be as strong as possible.
Yeah, don't you think that's one of the best things about librarians is that the way that we share, that you can count on people to share too. And I think that is so great. And that the things that they're going to be sharing, like we're librarians in schools. And so when we share these things, we know that we've, used them with our kids and our teachers, and that we're just sharing like the best of what we do.
Right. And we
Absolutely.
adapt it too. Like something I might do might not fit with what Amanda can do with it, but she'll just tweak it and then and go and run with it,
Yeah,
That's
that
Right.
and
that's
my whole thing has always been when you do use somebody's thing, give credit where credit is due. We've
100%.
recently, this is an ongoing conversation we have where I'm like, wait a second, I've seen XYZ has done that. Why is credit not being given? So,
it's very important to celebrate those things that
yeah.
people are that not only that you're making, but that others, because I think
Mhm.
ideas are just so important. And the whole family thing, definitely. Like,
Yeah.
not true. I mean, it's like it's just so great to be able to count on people, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. So what is your like if you were to pick like one of your favorite ways like that you guys share, like what do you count on the most like for each other with your PLN?
Ideas.
So yeah, that's basically what I was gonna say. Like sometimes we feel like we get so much information out there, which is great. I don't think that's ever a
Yeah.
problem for us to have too much information, but sometimes we never know like where to start. I might have an idea, but the more I talk about it with Deb, and then we also reach out with our close friend Karina Kielantan
Yeah.
Garza, Q the librarian, and the three of us were always just bouncing ideas off of each
Mhm.
other. So what might have started as just a kernel, like, what do y'all think if I tried a Comic-Con event? Has now turned
Mhm.
into my super giant event that's happening in May because of my friends that are like, oh, you should
Yeah.
do this and you should do that. And I'm like, dang, you guys, I wanted to start small. And now here I am with this big giant event.
True.
So
Yeah.
they
I love
inspire.
that. I love it.
And it's
So
a lot of like things that like Karina would put out. I'd be like, I never even thought of doing that. Let me
Yeah.
try
Give
that
her
and see how it fits. So, like, I'll give you an example. There's a librarian that we've recently connected with, new Fox Reads, I think is her name on Instagram. And she had posted one of those, is it a love song? Is it literature? And
yes.
so I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. I know I can use this. So I went and I used it. And so what did I do? I turned around and I made one pop star or poet. And I'm going to use that during National Poetry Month with my kids. The kids loved it because they were like, oh yeah, that's a love song. And then they find out it was a poem. They're like, wait, what? It's like, yeah.
Oh,
I said,
that's so
remember,
cool.
lyrics are poetry. So yeah.
That's such a great idea. I hope you
Yeah.
share that so I can like I'll have to check out that Fox Reads too.
Yeah.
It's so it reminds me like listening to you guys and your friendships reminds me of my sister is also a librarian. So Heather's a librarian in Iowa. And there isn't really a day that goes by that we don't like collaborate and talk about
Oh
ideas.
yeah.
And it's
Oh
like the
yeah.
best thing because like I'm the only librarian in my district, and so
That's
it's just me. And
right.
I like always have Heather and I always tell her like it's so great because not only do I get to like hang out with my sister, but to have somebody that you can like just throw ideas out there and that they
Oh
help
yeah.
you, help you kind of put them together, I think is just so neat. I
Mhm.
love following too you guys on social, and I think that that is something that is so great. I mean, Miss Amanda, your videos, like, I'm addicted.
I love her.
I
I don't know how she does it. And she comes up with the greatest things. I'm like, I wish I had thought of that. I
I
wish I that was
know.
great.
They're so great.
appreciate
I know. Tell
I
people
love
about like
French.
talk about like that a little bit because I think that is a huge part. Like we think about like how, first we were just using Twitter and then everybody kind of got on Instagram and now there's the video thing. And so just share like what you use and what you're sharing like on these platforms.
So Deb does, and she's already done one for today. She does
Yep.
First Line Fridays on TikTok, and I absolutely love it because there are lots of librarians that don't like to put themselves in front of the camera and embarrass themselves, like myself. And so I feel like that is such a great way for her to still advocate for
Yeah.
libraries and books without putting, her face out there. And so I'm always telling other librarians because they're like, I could never. And I'm like, I totally get that.
You can. Yeah.
I just inside I feel like I'm 13, so I feel like I'm working with the right age group here. So I don't mind doing stuff like that and them calling me cringe or whatever, but then they're talking about me. And that's the thing, is that they're talking about the library, they're talking about the books that I'm promoting. They feel already like a connection before they even walk in the door. And when I have a school of 1,000 kids that I don't always get to connect with, it's a great way to bridge that. And those shyer kids that don't feel comfortable coming up to me might have seen my videos on TikTok or on Instagram or on Be Real or wherever, and they already like, oh, I know you, I follow you. And so then we can start to have a conversation revolving around the library and books, because that's ultimately what I always want to bring it back to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know
I
those
agree. And
are,
that's the thing. One of the things we did a session last year, and we're actually going to be doing again, was that Clear Creek setting the trend
oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
down in Houston. We do the Don't Fear the Media. It was originally TikTok, you don't stop, but you know how some places can't use TikTok. And I was like, okay. So I was like, let's do Don't Fear the Media. And all it does is talk about all the different ways we use social media, the ridiculous amount of platforms that we're on, and keeping up with it. I mean, Amanda's great about that. She'll put her review out on Instagram, and then the next thing you know, I'll get a notification, Blue Sky and Threads and whatever, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got to remember to do that and put that out there, and so.
I know. You do a great job. It's like
But the whole point is, don't be afraid.
yeah.
Start
Yeah.
small, and that's what we tell them.
Okay.
Start with
Yes.
Instagram.
Yeah.
I love Instagram because you could put a picture and that's it. No hashtags, no nothing, and it could speak volumes.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that that's one of like my favorite tools for like collaborating is Instagram and like
Yeah.
social media,
Oh,
because
there's so many people we've connected with. It's insane.
well, and think
Absolutely.
about like one thing too that I think you guys do a good job, and I also love like connecting with, all like the ed tech companies and stuff. And you think about like if we weren't able to connect with the ed tech companies over the years that we all love, like we wouldn't be able to use those tools like we do. We wouldn't
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to be educated or have these like opportunities to be able to be an ambassador or go to a conference
Right.
and see the, like, and I think that's something that is so, so neat too, just about the way that we learn.
Oh, yeah. And that's the
And
other thing too, just like social media with the ed tech tools, start slow.
Yeah.
That's what I've always said when I've ever done sessions with Wakelet or even Canva, we do a session on. Start slow. We did what was the thing with Christina, the Canvas Winter Showcase, Canva Winter Showcase.
Yep.
Amanda talked about, what did you do? You and Rachel did the book bingos.
Oh, like, yes, reading challenges, things like that.
And I did
and I
didn't realize my video was only like 12 minutes long, but I did the First Line Friday and I did a little mini training, and I'm like, I hope that's okay. All I get now is people tagging me, thank you so much for doing this. I'm feeling more confident
Yes.
now that I know I can create these 15-second book trailers to get the kids to notice. And that's what I do. I throw it out on Canvas, and sure enough, I'll have a kid going, and hey, do you have that book that you put out there? Yep, here you go.
That's so cool.
Marketing.
And
But
I
again,
feel like yeah, start slow. But also like with us when it comes to badging or ambassadorships or certified educators, we are always trying to outdo each other. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like I
you win on that
love
one, bud.
I don't know. Because every time Karina gets one, I'm like, ooh, I'm
I
behind. I
know.
need to find out what this is. I need to learn it and I need to get
Yeah.
certified in it. Because it's just another way, like it's in my email signature, the badges that we have and that
Yeah.
we've gotten. It's just another way to show like that I'm a professional that learns constantly. And that if you need help, you can come ask me. We don't have technologists housed on our campus.
Right.
They're
Same.
revolving from between schools. And so like I need them to know because sometimes it happens right then. They come up with an idea and they're like, I want to do this today. And I'm like, yes, like I can help you with that. And I
Mm-hmm.
want them to see the library as a place that not just for books, love the books, love it, number one. But I also love the ed tech tools that we
Mm-hmm.
can use to get our kids involved.
Yeah.
And we're a one-to-one iPad district. So like
Yep.
they're always having those devices in their hands. So
Yeah. Well, I've said it a million times for the last how many years? It's not just books and bonbons. We're
Yeah.
not
yeah,
just reading. We're not just, you know, eating chocolate.
checking
We're
out books.
constantly meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and what Amanda was saying too, all that ed tech leads to the other thing we do is the potty PD or library in the loo.
Mm-hmm.
I've had teachers either email me or come up to me and like, I had no idea we could do that. I had a special ed teacher. It's like, oh my God, I love CuriePod. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's like, you're welcome. Well, this month it's Magic School AI. I'm like, you guys have
Mm-hmm.
no idea what this thing can do, you know?
Right.
I mean, I use Magic School and Brisk a lot when I'm creating
Mm-hmm.
lesson plans to put on Wakelet. And just being able to type in, I need the ISTE and I need the TEKS, and it comes
Mm-hmm.
right up. And then I'm able to go, okay, let me adapt this. Let me pull the resources in.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
here's the
cool.
lesson, you know?
Yeah.
Amazing.
So we're
It
kind of
helps our
always trying to
teachers, saves
out.
them money. Yeah.
Well, and another cool thing, I think, like even talking about collaboration, like when you talk about like within your own school, the
Mhm.
relationships that you guys have or that all of us have, like in the librarian world,
Yeah,
us that are connected, is like that's helping also us connect more with our teachers inside of our
yeah,
buildings. Because I see so many ideas
Right.
from people. And I go to school and I'm like, I saw this idea online last night, like, or I'll send like a tweet or I'll send, a picture of something.
yeah.
And I think that's one of the neat things too about our role as librarians is that, we're like curating too all these ideas and resources that we find
Mhm.
from people that we collaborate with.
And that's what was that last year or the year before we did a thing? I don't remember. It was a webinar and we did the months of modules. And so we have in this Wakelet collection by month, there's got to be close to
Oh, I remember that.
160 different things. And I'm like, okay, I got to kind of update that and throw in an AI column, be like,
Yes.
here, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
But I will go back and I'll refer to that. And I can always see when people have like liked it or viewed it. Okay, 2 years later, they're still it's a go-to for them. So it's always like we're constantly trying to update things too.
That's really neat. Well, and I think that is also a great thing about the collaboration is like, even, I mean, start spring break today, so it should just be a bit
Yay!
No,
but
no.
because we have this great PLN, like I think about like my sister and I mean, what will we do over break? We'll talk about the library,
Mhm.
talk about
Oh
ideas.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Like I'm like,
All the
okay,
time.
I
thinking about what can we do? All right, National Poetry Month is coming, School
yeah.
Library Month is coming. I kind of know what I want to do, but I know where the three of us are going to be constantly, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. What do you think? What do you think?
And I love that.
Right.
That makes like our jobs so much better. Like I
Mhm.
love being a librarian at Van Meter. I love being a librarian too because of the PL in our family that we have. Like that is to me like the best thing. And you guys are such an
Absolutely.
important part of that. Like I love that. I love that I can just ask you anytime to do anything and you're always like, yes.
Sure. Where in the calendar can
And
we fit it?
also,
Yeah.
exactly. That's the thing. But also, like, no one really gets this job other than each other. And if we didn't have a lot of us are solo people on our campuses, or even in our district, like Shannon, the only librarian in your district. And that can be very isolating at times. And if other people don't really understand what we're going through and what this job is, it can be very hard to continue day to day, especially with all the censorship stuff that's been happening the last few years. We need each other now more than ever.
Yeah.
Totally. I know that's why this conversation is so important. And I hope that people like follow you. I'm going to ask you guys again to tell people where they can follow you at.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. We are everywhere.
I'll get another part. She'll send me a text. Hey, there's a new platform. Want to try
exactly.
it? Okay.
I can't keep up.
And that's the thing is like branding ourselves is so important, making sure that no matter what platform we're on, people can find us and that we can share the things that we do on multiple platforms too. Yeah. So if someone has left Twitter X and gone to Blue Sky or to Threads, then we're there too. So
like I had
at the Next Gen Librarian.
I had at Librarian, Z_.
Librarian.
I always forget the underscore because there's like tried doing the Librarian, it didn't work, whatever. But like you were talking about Blue Sky, it's interesting. I love it on there. There's tons of authors, which is wonderful. Well, okay, this is where the following starts to happen. I got because they don't have direct messaging in it yet, but I had an author who writes for SLJ say, hey, I'm doing an article on, I don't remember what it was, but she's like, would you be interested? I'm like, okay. So I said, I'll go to your website. And I went and I submitted and then I responded to her, hey, I sent you an email through your website. Haven't heard back from her yet, but then again, who knows, the mailbox could be filled up. But
yeah. But it's just so great. It's like I just think that it's I feel so lucky to be a librarian, and a big part of it is because of our PLN, and especially
and we have the good times, but then when we were struggling, it's immediate. One of us is blowing up if one of us is having a bad day, instantly in our chat, hey, this is what's going on, da 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 da, and then we'll try to give each other some kind of a
help support. Each other.
Yeah. All right, why don't you try this? Or, oh, I'm sorry, what about this?
And the best part is also seeing each other in person. Like, and I think that's the special thing is like
LA right around the corner.
I can't even wait. Well, you guys are the best. I'm so happy that you joined me, and I can't wait to talk to you again. We'll have you back on to talk about something other amazing thing.
Anything.
Oh, you guys are the best. And so if you haven't connected with Amanda and Deb, you guys have to do it. And just remember, like they said, how important it is to be together if we're in the same school or the same state, wherever we are online. I think that they said it all, that this is like family. So I'm glad you guys are my family. You're awesome.
You. Join our family.
Yeah, right.
We take
Join
everyone.
PLN or PLF. That's what we call it.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
As always, thank you to all of our listeners for joining us for this episode of the Future Ready Librarian podcast series, Leading from the Library. And a very special thank you to our sponsors, Follett. You make a difference in our libraries, schools, and within our lives and that of our students every day. We appreciate everything you do. I hope you can take what you learned in today's podcast and put it to use within your practice as a future ready librarian. If I can support you in any way, please feel free to reach out to me on X or Instagram at Shannon M. Miller, or to my email at shannonmcclintockmiller@gmail.com. I am always happy to help. Until next time, friends, keep finding ways to lead within and from your library.